Hello everybody in Peer Mediation, and in this video I'm going to be going over a little bit more about the course, and I want you to start thinking, is peer mediation right for me? So this is an elective class. Some of you chose to be in here, some of you I know were given the class or maybe recommended the class, and you still have questions about what the course is. So I want to go over for you to make the decision if this is the right class for you and if you have what it takes to become a peer mediator, a safe school ambassador. So the goal for this video today is to have you evaluate your level of readiness to become a peer mediator. You're going to do this by watching this informational video, and then at the end of the video you're going to complete the Google form that you'll find in Google Classroom. So in this class we will build a community where you'll support each other and you're going to create new friendships. So here you see some pictures from some of our team building activities that we do throughout the beginning of the semester to get you guys really to start bonding with each other and start seeing each other as fellow human beings, fellow raters, not by the person you judge when you first saw them walk in the room. Mr. Mercado is another key part of our program. He runs the mediation circles, the restorative circles. If you've ever worked with Mr. Mercado, you know the amazing work he does and how lucky we are to have him as part of our program. And so what is peer mediation? So peer mediation, it's a program and a class that teaches students how to become leaders on their campus by helping you develop the knowledge, the skills, and the experiences to create a more positive school environment. So this is not like any other elective. It's not like any other class where it's just simply come and learn something and then go home. This is a program that is meant to improve our school through how the students act. You guys make up, 1,700 or so students on our campus versus only like maybe 100 of us adults. You are way bigger of a force than we are. So you all have a much bigger impact on how our school is. We can set rules, we can set, guidelines, but at the end of the day, it's how peers behave that you follow. So we need positive leaders, and especially young men. There's a lot of young men that are getting caught up in a lot of problems, and when I think about the future, right? These are men that will one day be fathers. I want you, especially the young men in the class, I want you to start seeing, what are you doing for your future family, for your future children? What steps are you taking right now as a young man to be ready to be that adult father figure to a family in your future? So creating changes in some of the bad habits, or maybe some of the motivation we lack, or maybe just kind of making changes to be happier in our lives is something that we all could benefit from. And that's something that's going to happen in this class. And that's how it's different from a lot of other classes. We also believe that if the problem is between students, then the solution has to be with the students. Peer mediators are empowered to address the conflicts among students at schools and work with your peers to improve communication and promote a culture of mutual respect. That doesn't mean you're going to be out there like a superhero. It just means you're going to use your power of influence over your friends to get them to think differently. In this class, we're going to do a lot of work on ourselves and our identity first, and then develop the leadership skills to make positive changes on our campus. So the goals and actions of our program, of the Safe School Ambassador program, of the Peer Mediation class, is to reduce conflicts among students. It's going to help us increase the understanding of each other and our differences. And we want to reduce instances of bullying. We want to foster a student climate of respect where students respect each other, where they learn to put their differences aside, not let problems escalate, not encourage fights, right? Think about that. Think about how much better you and your families and the families of your friends and your peers would be if we didn't have kids going out to the park to fight, if kids weren't getting high all the time or getting caught, getting suspended for drugs and alcohol on campus. Think about how much better just it would be to hang out and be on our campus, and think about how much better off our families would be not having to deal with this added pressure that comes from bad decision making. And that you guys have the power to influence that. We may never make it completely go away, but we could definitely reduce the amount of instances that create problems in our school. So we'll organize assemblies to address major school issues. We will provide class presentations at, not all the time, but we will do this, on a few occasions on engaging topics. Facilitate conflict resolution through restorative circles. So some of you may be pulled out of class, right, to help Mr. Mercado resolve an issue between students, having a peer mediator there. And if you are a junior or a sophomore, next year you could also sign up to be in the counseling center as an advanced peer mediator, where you're in the counseling center full time if they ever need you just to talk to someone that needs talking to. And we want to provide students opportunities to voice concerns to school administration. Oftentimes when the school wants student input, I often, invite them into the peer mediation class for students to tell administrators your point of view of some of the issues or some of the policies on our campus. So this will also give you a voice with our school administration. And we want you to work to change the norms on the campus that lead to mistreatment, right? I want you to think of what are the ways students behave. What's normal? What's accepted behavior? And we want to create the normal accepted behavior as one where at Southwest, people are just chill. People respect each other. People don't get in your business, right? If there's a conflict, people apologize. That's what I mean by changing the norms. Now, how we do this is we start off by focusing on ourselves before we help others. So in this class, we're going to talk about wellness, self-awareness. Who am I? Why do I act the way I act in my environment, right? That's social awareness and developing empathy, learning to put ourselves in other people's shoes, learning how to make responsible decision-making, understanding that our decisions have consequences, and learning how to make decisions based on our values and what's important to us. We're going to work on relationship skills, how to become a good listener, an effective communicator, manage your emotions. And self-management, how to regulate your behavior, how to self-discipline yourself, how to self-motivate yourself. Now, some of you who have taken my class before in world history, we've seen and we've talked about this pyramid of needs that you see in the corner, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So we're going to do some studying of basic psychology and understanding how our psychological needs often dictate the behavior that we engage in. And when we understand who we are and we become self-aware of where we are in this development in our psychology, we're better able to regulate our behaviors. And that's a part of the class. A lot of the students who take this class at the end of the year say that they are a much better person and a student or just a better human being because of learning about themselves. So what will we study? Our first unit is going to be to build community, get you guys to get to know each other, feel comfortable talking to each other, because there is a lot of discussion in this class. And some of you may be very shy. But just because you're shy doesn't mean you can't engage. It does not mean you can participate. If you don't want to become totally outgoing, you don't have to. But we'll create an environment where you'll feel safe to voice your opinion in small groups, in class discussions. And that comes with building a community of respect. And that takes time, and that's the first unit we're going to work on. And then we're going to go into the Safe School Ambassador training and the skills of how to intervene when conflicts occur, so you have that training, and we'll learn about some of the causes and consequences of mistreatment. Then we'll move on to identity and a personal growth plan. We'll learn about time and stress management. Again, the causes and consequences of mistreatment. And then throughout the year and embedded in other units, we're also going to we'll be discussing self-esteem. We're going to look at the anatomy of friendships, how friendships are made, broken, how trust is earned, what happens when it's broken. We're going to learn about pressure and why we respond to different pressure situations, building trust. We may even get into how we're impacted by standards of beauty. We did get to talk about that a little bit last year, so we may get to those topics as well. So that's a little bit about what's coming up. And so here you see some pictures of some of the events that we've done in the past. We have an assembly of about 200 students. You can see them building, bonds between the leader, and the leader were the ones in the t-shirts that you see in that top corner picture, and a group of students that they were kind of just guiding through in circle discussions. We spent a whole day together in the gym, and it's a very, very awesome, powerful assembly. We've also done Christmas parties, in the classroom. At the end, the kids have done like a little white elephant game. And we also go to the students with special needs during Christmas and sometimes during Halloween and just hang out and interact with the students in the special needs class who often don't get to interact with the campus. So we include them in our campus by just going and hanging out with them for a day and visiting them and spending the period in their class, playing games with them. For Christmas, we did Christmas decorations. We found out what each student in the class liked, and a couple of the peer mediators, they pulled together their resources and bought a couple of gifts for all the kids in the class. So that's something else that we're going to do throughout the year, usually Halloween and Christmas, maybe Valentine's Day, if we have time, if there's time in our curriculum to do so. And the workload. So what you can expect in this class? We do a lot of class discussions. The major assignments include like a video action project that we do. Usually that's the second semester. At the end of each essay, we write reflective essays. I guide you through them. They're actually not very difficult to write once you see the way I teach you, so don't be intimidated. And they're just reflections of learning. You will, at the end, present what you've learned. You will do a little slideshow or a video to show us what you've learned. There may be sometimes where you'll do presentations in the class, or sometimes when we have assemblies, some of you will volunteer to present. That's going to be based on those of you who feel more confident. And then most of the work is going to be done in a notebook, and I will have periodic notebook checks. And in addition to that, there's a weekly assignment where once you learn how to intervene, when we finish the Safe School Ambassador training, which will probably be around September, then in September you will start to keep a log like you see here of the ways you have intervened. So we'll teach you how to, address trash talk, how to address gossip, how to address kids who feel left out, exclusion, how to address instances of bullying, either with the bully or how to support the person that was being bullied. And when you do that, you're going to keep track of that and reflect on that. So that's what these action logs are. Now, who should and who shouldn't take peer mediation? Students who should take the class. Now, ideally, I want all of you to take the class. You are all here and you all have the potential to make an impact on this campus. Every single one of you can create a wave of change, and together we can do a lot of good things in our school and set this up so that next year more students take the class. My dream would be to build this class up to 2 or 3 more sections where more and more students can engage in this, because this is also it's good for you. It's good for the future person, the future adult you're going to be. It's going to make you a better person, what we learn and reflect on in this class. So students who are positive, friendly, open-minded attitude. You're willing to take a stand against mistreatment, right? We need people that have courage. A lot of times, not everyone has courage. And I'm going to call out the boys again. Oftentimes, the boys do not have the courage to stand up to their own friends. They would rather stay quiet when something's wrong than to address something with their own friends. So I want someone who's willing to kind of put themselves out there and take that stand against mistreatment. If someone's harassing another student, being able to address it with your friends, and we'll give you the skills on how to do that in a way that's positive. I want students who are willing to change for the better so that you can become positive role models on your campus. I want you to think right now, and you could just give a show of hands. Even though I can't see you, I will feel your energy across the air all the way to the convention center where I'll be today. How many of you in here want to be happier or want to be a better person? You want to make improvements. So quickly, a show of hands. See, and I can feel those all the way to where I'm at. And I'm glad that I see people who want to make a change. And that's what I want in this class. Someone who is caring towards yourself and towards others. A lot of that, again, we always start with ourselves. If you don't care for yourself, it's going to be hard for you to care about others. We want students who admit to mistakes and you're willing to make it right. We're human. We're going to make mistakes, and I'm never going to judge any of you by any of the mistakes you have made or that you may make, because you're young and you're learning, and I would not want to be judged by some of the things I said or did to people when I was 15 or 16 years old. And so you're willing to admit mistakes, make it right. You're willing to be emotionally challenged, to question, to be able to engage with your feelings if they come up. I also want you to be willing to be silly and playful. A lot of our team building is going to be being goofy and stepping out of our comfort zone little by little. And active participation is required. This is not just a sit and get class where you just sit down and you get taught. This is a get and do type of class. You're going to get information and you're going to take action with it. So I want someone who's open to and willing to change for the better. So some of the community agreements, right? I want you to be willing to show up and do the work. Be willing to ask for help if something's getting in the way of you showing up to doing the work. And be willing to do what it takes so that you leave better than who you were when you first entered this classroom. And that's the ultimate goal, that when you're done with this class, you leave better than you came in. And so in this chart here, you can see in highlights and underlines some of the agreements that I want to have throughout the course. One of them is going to be confidentiality. We got to build up, the trust in the classroom so that what is said in here stays in here. And that takes a while, right? Unless you're a danger to yourself or others, or you're, being hurt. What's said here stays here, but what's learned here leaves here. So what you learn here, I don't want you to just oh, that's cool information. I want you to use it. I want you to apply it. I want you to work on it with your own friends, with your family. I want you to honor digital privacy. Don't record or take pictures of people or me without permission. When we're in class, be fully present. Don't have distractions, electronic devices, homework for other classes. Being open-minded to change, being supportive of one another in and outside the classroom, right? When you see someone outside the classroom, see them as your fellow peer mediators. So this is a full-time kind of mindset here. Not just, I'm in class, I'm going to behave, now I'm out of class, and I'm going to totally do things that I know are not right. Right? So this is a full-time commitment. In the class, we'll discuss issues, not people. So we won't say names. You'll just say a student, a teacher, not Mr. Rodriguez. Be respectful to others, to yourself, to other peer mediators, and handle any possible conflicts that may occur with each other in a respectful and mature manner, or come to me for that support. I also want you to step up and be able to step back. Some of you might always like to participate. If you're a person who always participates, think about once in a while stepping back and letting other people step up and have that spotlight so that more people are encouraged to participate. And if you find you aren't speaking at all, consider stepping up. Pay attention to how much you're dominating the conversation or how little you're participating. And ask for what you need. Whenever you need anything, always ask. I'm here to support you. And even if you are not going to be in my class, I'm still here to support you. If I can, come see me with what you need. At the end of the day, the energy you give is going to be the energy you're going to get. Now, who should not take the class? If you just think, oh, I'm going to come and get an easy A. It sounds cool. I don't have to do anything. It's not an easy A. It is an easy class, but you do have to do work. Okay? You can't just come in here and sit and expect to pass. That being said, there rarely will be any homework in this class. When I say work, it's the work we do while in class. It's the notes, it's the reflections. If you do everything in class, there will rarely be homework. And when there is homework, they're usually very easy assignments. So I don't want you just to take the class because, oh, my friends are in the class. I just want to have fun with them only. I don't want to talk to new people. If you're in here with your friends, you're going to meet new people. And you're not always going to work with your friends, even if it's your best friend. Okay, you're going to expand your circle while you're in the class. I don't want, students who have a negative or closed mind attitude shouldn't take the class. If you don't believe this is going to work, you don't believe there could be change, then you're not going to be able to get what we can out of the class, and it's not going to contribute to the atmosphere of growth. If you're going to be rude, right, to me, to your classmates, disrespectful, or cause drama, then this is not going to be the right class for you. Also, I don't want people who are going to be, quote, fake, okay, who don't take the program seriously. Again, you talk in class as if you want to make this change, but then when you leave class, you're completely doing the opposite, right? So if that's the case, and there's been a few instances in the past where I've had to ask students to change their schedules or ask counselors to change schedules because a student was kind of disrupting the vibe of the class by not being genuine. So I don't want you to just take the class because, oh, it's going to look good on my college application. It is going to look good on your college application, but you've got to do the work for that to happen. Okay? So I don't want to come across social media posts like Rodriguez needs to stop with these homework assignments, not doing them. Let me enjoy my break, Rodriguez, right? Where if you have a complaint, if you have an issue, bring it to me. Don't put it on social media. If you have an issue with the student, bring it to the student. If you don't know how to do that, bring it to me, right? Don't put stuff on social media. You're going to, it's only opening up to more trouble. And you get kids, or posting things that are inappropriate. Once you know better, you do better. And don't be like, oh, I'm going to get snitched on for this tweet to my peer mediation teacher tomorrow, right? So be honest. And if you make a mistake, be willing to accept it. And don't blame other people if they're trying to correct you, right? Or, posting stuff, definitely not peer mediation material, okay? So I don't want you guys engaged in drama. I want this class to be a class where you guys are going to feel like, damn, this is a good class. I want you to take it where you're telling your friends. And some of you are in here because you've had a friend tell you that. And there's some benefits beyond. So these are some just graduates of students who have taken peer mediation or been Safe School ambassadors who use those skills in their careers. Dinora Reina, who is a immigrant rights activist. Cassandra Fate, who now works in the County of San Diego as a probation officer. We have Tony Hernandez, who's a San Diego sheriff. He works with youth in the juvenile justice system. We have Ilma De Vera, who's a school counselor now. And student Mai, who works in youth services. Ruben and Denise, who are pictured, they're brother and sister. They went to Yale and UCSD and NYU. And they're both, Ruben's now a doctor, and Denise works in public health, and they use a lot of the human-to-human connection that they learned in our class. Aria at UC Merced, Chico State, is now a political science major and using a lot of the lessons from her peer mediation class at Olympian. She was one of my wife's students in, political discourses to implement change. So there are a lot of students who go on to college and say, wow, this is a lot like the sociology classes we're taking in college. So some of you are even going to find potential careers with what you learn in this class. So at the end of the class, you may have changed, right? And you might have people in your life that say, man, you've changed. And you're going to respond by saying, yeah, I'd hope so, because we all want to change, right? Think about like your own parents. Would you want your parents to still behave the way they were behaving in high school? Or do you want them to be mature, right? So we're always going to grow. And you're only going to get out what you put in. So the more you put in, the more you're going to grow in this class. Okay? So you only get out what you put in. Don't expect more until you do more. And if it doesn't challenge you, it's not going to change you. So sometimes you're going to be challenged. And that's okay. I'm here to support you, and we're here to support each other. So the last thing you're going to do is in Google Classroom, there is a link to a document that says, am I ready to be a peer mediator? And you're going to complete that survey. You're going to answer the questions in complete sentences. If anybody does not have a laptop, in the back of the class, by the door, on top of the black bookshelves, I have some those little trays. In one of those trays, I think it is the one most on the left side, there is a copy of this paper. And if one person who's sitting near there could stand up and find those and then just hand them out to people who don't have laptops, I would appreciate that. Okay, so that is it for this video. So go ahead and work on that. And I thank you, and I will see you all next week. Email me, please, if you have any questions. Have a great day.